Ramki and Manish, thank you very much for joining us on All About Ads. Here you are a digital entity. You have to use the digital medium in a very, very different way because you're e-commerce. We are talking about, you said 7,500 odd towns that you are delivering to, right? Are there any surprises there?
Shruti, thanks first for having me on the show. There are surprises. Every single time that we have a customer who's trying to do the first time purchase of a garment online, there's a chasm that they are crossing, right? And Zovi's tried to build right from the core on the web as well as on the phone and in the delivery network, the experience that the customer feels reassured with that first purchase, because that is what will drive repeat purchases.
Now I want you to link this up with the digital explosion that is happening, because there seems to be this, whether it's a preconceived notion or whether it is a wrongful notion, that digital hasn't really quite exploded in small town. And now I want you to tell us your experience.
We get a lot of orders from small towns. So therefore, evidently, they are able to access the internet and they are able to order online. Small towns have, seen a big growth for us predominantly after we going on TV, right? And I think that's where the brand and the awareness of the brand has led to them feeling comfortable enough to make a purchase.
हमारे बैच के लड़कों को क्या हो गया यार? Hey, isn't that Vikram Puri? Now only Aloo, no Puri. Oh my God, उसे देख, so smartly dressed.
Hi Priya.
Hi.
पहचाना नहीं क्या? घोंचू गौतम.
बीवी का असर है क्या?
बीवी नहीं, Zovi.
Unfortunately, in small towns, whilst internet access is there, it's the broadband bandwidth that's a little bit of a constraint, that they don't have a very good experience as yet. But with that growth, we will definitely see an explosion happening on that.
Very interestingly, you talked about television really adding to credibility. Now, both of you have had television commercials, and both of you are not television entities as such.
There's been with the small group of population that actually lives and breathes on the internet, in terms of our buyers, there's been a lot of advertising that hits them, digital advertising that hits them. And it's very difficult to discern between real, well-known, credible brands and a lot of people just advertising a good deal. What television advertising helped us do is get that brand credibility up. We saw a lot of new buyers buying the first time after the TV ad, but they had visited us many times before. So they were repeat visitors, but they bought after they saw the credibility that this brand is on national TV and they're advertising so much, I must try it out.
So you did see a spike in sales after your television ad was out?
Absolutely.
We're talking about interactivity also, and let me get you here because you've quoted the example of Macy's and what you could do. You can point your phone and actually interact with the designer of a particular label.
We've already started to see people wanting to interact and play around with the product, right, in a digital space. So they want better quality pictures, they want to be able to spin around the product, they want to see the product in flow, right, the video, so that they feel more comfortable with how the product would look. Zovi Eye, which is a technology we introduced, actually allows you to see yourself in that product using the camera of your simple laptop. Moving forward, I believe that fundamentally this interactivity, right, will go even further, where they would want to be able to connect and chat. So something like talking to a stylist and figuring out what combinations would work is potentially a next new step, right?
But is that happening in the top towns or top cities only? Or are we talking about, say, a Rudrapur, for instance, where this interactivity is likely to happen?
Where people are on dial-up connections and difficult low bandwidth connections, they are keeping to the basics, right? Zovi has the technology that is optimized so that we are able to deliver a good experience even in smaller bandwidths. But again, to be able to move to video and other content, it will take that a little bit of extra growth in the market. I personally believe that the next stage, right, is about customization, right, to a level where you get a customized experience where that website really understands you and is pulling together, instead of you having to go through a catalog of 50, 100 products is curating an experience for you and then making the checkout process, right, pretty seamless. They know the sizes, they know what you like, they recommend colors, and they give you multiple options. That's really the future.
E-commerce and the future in digital. What do you expect to see in 2013-14?
Fundamentally, broadband growth, that is what is going to help drive e-commerce growth. Today, the spread of delivery networks, right, and majority of the e-commerce players handling their own delivery like Zovi does, has already eased the pain of cash on delivery vis-a-vis prepaid. So credit cards is not that much of a problem. And I fundamentally see that payments is not going to be a critical lever going forward, right? So it's going to be driven predominantly by that comfort feeling and the convenience feeling of being able to order a top quality, latest international fashion at your home doorstep and it gets delivered. That's really where the e-com market growth is.
I have to ask you this because we are an advertising, marketing and branding show and we are on television. So this whole interactivity with television. Now we've all been talking about the second screen, but we don't really see very many people trying this out. What would you like to see in future with, say, a television ad linked up to your own product or your website?
I would definitely like to see us experimenting around that as we do our next television ad campaign and trying to sequence and see if we can, correlate those two using the laptop or a iPad or any kind of a smartphone device and offering a special deal if you are seeing the ad also and sparking that conversion process that we're trying to drive. It can be done. It's a little difficult given the penetration of smartphones as well as PCs right now.
SMSing or texting your responses or to a particular number, we're still there. We've not moved or evolved to a place where we can interact live with apps.
We're piloting this already and trying to drive the app, in-app purchases and in-app focus. But again, it's early days.
One last thing, you feel social media should be managed internally or outsourced?
I would prefer to do day-to-day management internally and get brilliant new ideas from outside.
Well, thank you for your perspective. Perhaps brands are now moving towards becoming multiple platforms themselves. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is where we take leave. We'll see you again, same time, same place next week from the entire team. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy.